Test. All right. All right. You guys should be able to hear me now. Give me a thumbs up on that. I'm not sure why it does that sometimes. It kicks over on the audio. You got it now, guys? Yay, nay. All right. Mark's saying we have audio. So, okay. Sorry about that. It likes to jump over sometimes when I got headphones on. But let me kind of start back. So, here for Talk About It Tuesday tonight. As usual, I'm coming to you from Pure Bowling here in Ephrata, PA. And we're here tonight to talk about the Track Kinetic Platinum. And I realize I have a segment right up against PBA bowling, so hopefully you're multitasking. If not, just remember right now you can catch the Chameleon Championship, which is on FS1. Pretty good show tonight. We got 4 guys throwing the Brands of Brunswick tonight. So if you haven't seen it, tune into that right now. Watch in unison here. Not sure you're going to get to see this one go down the lane in that forum, but we're definitely going to talk a little bit about this staple within the track line. So before my audio got a little wonky, one of the things I was saying is Kinetic is no stranger to the track brand. And if you remember back, the Kinetic itself came out in 2007. 2007. And 14-year run, and we have this nameplate that is still making some noise and has had some success between the release of the Ruby, and we had the latest one, which was the Obsidian, which was a solid version of this. And now we have the cover on this one with the DR7 Pearl cover stock, 500, 1,000, 1,500 with compound on it. And we're going to give you pretty much a perfect complement to the Kinetic Obsidian that we all love that was originally made down Hopkinsville before it came up to be made by the Brands of Brunswick. So you're going to get that same shuttle core that we had in all the Kinetic lines before it. But what you're going to get out of this one is you're definitely going to get it more for medium conditions, skid flip reaction. Numbers are going to be the same on that shuttle core, 2.480, 0.040 differential, and then the intermediate diff is when it makes this one kind of special because it's very low. It is an asymmetric piece, but it is 0.006. So very low intermediate diff on this bowling ball, which, what does that kind of mean? And what I like to kind of talk through on some of these segments and stuff is it's pretty close to being a symmetric piece. But what makes this really good is essentially, I feel it gives a really good stepping stone to when we go in between going from our asymmetrical pieces that maybe we start the night with, and we're stepping down into the symmetrical realm. It gives kind of an additional step in there, though I feel like I got to go into the lower portion of my bag. A lot of people will ask, we go through the numbers, kind of where it fits. And one of the things I really try to do when we go through these is to really make sense of where this fits within the track line, right? Not because we have 7 brands to choose from the Brands of Brunswick, but within the track line, this one's going to come out of your bag. It may not be the first one unless you bowl in a very low volume house shot. It may come in handy right out of the gate. But essentially, if you were to put them in order, right now, kind of your big ball on the track line is that strata. Earlier shape, a lot of asymmetry into that ball. When you get off of a strata, and before you get into this Kinetic, you may get into something like a proof hybrid, something that is going to give you a little more length than that strata, but retains energy. And then you're able to step into something like this Kinetic Platinum, which is going to give you more of that skid flip. So when those stronger asymmetric bowling balls start to become a little too early or a little too much in the mid lane, now you have an option where you can step into it, see a little more of the ball motion in the skid phase, before it rolls forward at the end of the pattern. So it's going to get you through the fronts a little easier, but it's going to retain energy enough to actually tip it down lane. All right. Looks like we got a bunch of people that are popping in here, so I want to make sure I'm not missing comments. I specifically tonight did not have a guest on because, as you know, as I mentioned, if you're turning an FS1, everybody's pretty much down competing at the World Series right now. Some of the guys are headed home, and didn't want to throw anybody off by trying to have them on the program while they're down there trying to compete. What do we got here? Saying hello to people that are coming in. Dom, hope that knee's feeling better. Mark Walters. Julian, look like you both pretty good over the weekend, my friend. Brandon, good to see you. Ryan Snyder, a mainstay in here. My good friend Hansel, glad you stopped by, my man. I'm sure you got this one in your bag. What else we got? Pete Brennan's in here. Jason Hummer, miss you, brother. Haven't seen you for a while. Tony Ruth. We got Jared tuning in from, looks like the YouTube side of it. Dave Simmons, Bowling League tonight, just bowled a 236. That's a fantastic game, David. Christine Weber, good to see you going on here, Chris. I think you meant to put Howls, Jawa is going, Jeff. It's going well, Chris. It only took 4 times to get it, but it's going well. So let's say, instead of, asking, just going over the numbers, and I'm asking one of the other staffers how it rolls. Essentially what I thought would be kind of fun is to essentially, if Chuck is on there, I'd be surprised. He's kind of busy right now, Brandon, but we want to make sure that we're understanding where this kind of fit. We have a lot of guests on here, and we talk a lot about layouts and things along those lines. So I thought maybe one of the fun things would be is to kind of explain how I'm going to drill mine. So I'll be 100% honest with you. I would have loved to drill mine already. I mean, this ball came out on the 4th. I've had one sitting here. But essentially, unfortunately, I hurt myself last week. I took a nasty burn, so I was out of the shop for a few days. Essentially why I didn't do any feeds last week, and didn't get a chance to put holes in it. And essentially now, I'm going to make sure that this one fits in my bag. So we talk a lot about, layouts and how we make sure it's going to fit a hole in the bag. And, as I'm going through and I'm replacing some cover stocks, I quickly saw that there is a pretty nice little hole where I'd like to have something, maybe, for myself, as I am crossing over a little bit between maybe some of my Obsession Tour or something before I get into the symmetric part of the bag. So felt like I wanted something a little cleaner with a little pop. So what I think is fun about it is, when I'm going to lay out a bowling ball, you'll hear me say a lot of times I will lay the first one out, essentially, with my favorite layout. And then from there, if I decide to add a secondary one, I'll add one in the bag. So, for myself, it would be the same thing I would approach if I'm working with one of you, the great clients that come in here, or people that I'm, trying to educate here is essentially we need to know some of the parameters, right? So for myself, I have a higher rev rate. I'm 450 plus. So I still get on it for being an old man a little bit. My axis point is 5 inches straight across, and I am 3/4 of an inch up. So I track pretty high, and I have relatively low tilt. So when I'm drilling bowling balls and understanding what needs to happen, I definitely want to make sure that I know those parameters along with my axis rotation so I can refine my ball motion. More now than ever, we need to ensure that we have all these parts of the equation put together to drill a bowling ball, because we only get one shot at it, with not having the ability to just pop a weight hole in there and probably make it a little better. Remember, at the end of the day, the surface preparation and the texture of the bowling ball is going to make up a lot of your ball motion. But for me, and for everybody out there, what we're really trying to do is focus in on the response time or the transition time of a bowling ball. They are two different things. The transition time can be between the phases of a bowling ball. The response time is essentially more right before it rolls forward, in my opinion. So for myself, knowing that I have a relatively lower tilt and my ball speed and my rev rate is pretty matched, I would generally use front angles on my bowling balls of around 65 degrees or 55 degrees, depending on what it is. Now, obviously, in an asymmetric chord bowling ball, even though this is close to being symmetric, it does have a lot more meaning than it does where the CG placement is on a symmetric bowling ball. But the reason I'm doing that is because I don't have a ton of tilt. I don't want to go with super small front angles as my bowling ball. I need to ensure my bowling ball doesn't try to see the pattern in the wrong phase. Okay, I want to make sure it matches what we're doing. All right, so somebody that has very low tilt, we generally will go on the side of using bigger drill angles. All right, their bowling ball, as we have a big track circumference, right, is through that skid phase is different than somebody that has a lot of axis tilt, where we need to get some of that to burn off. Okay, I need to retain. All right. For myself too, because I'm a little heavy-handed, I'm going to use pin to paps. For me, kind of my sweet spot, which we would determine with any one of the clients out there, is one we're going to use that it's going to match up for the flare of the bowling ball. All right, how much I want it to flare. And, for me, if I'm on asymmetric bowling balls, generally I'll live more around the 5-inch range. I don't like them to flare too much. I especially don't want them to flare too much paired with lower tilt, because my bowling ball is going to pretty much do that motion of, and it's a very technical term, it's going to go, blah, right? Because it's bogging down too much. And then we get into mainly, your reaction or your transition time, which is basically how much I want to tell that bowling ball to seat, or how quick I want it to respond to the friction. Okay, so when it sees friction, how much do I want it to change direction? So because I'm a little heavy-handed, and because of the stuff we bowl on, I don't like transition times that are really quick. I don't really like super angular, motions. So knowing this is an angular piece, okay, the intention for it, I still want to match up and give the bowling ball a chance to do what its intention is for. So for something like me on this one, I think I'm going to go with 65 by about 4 3/4 or 4 7/8 by about 35. And essentially that way, the bowling ball fits within its intention, and I'm not trying to tame it down or tone it down into something else. Because what happens when you take a cover, okay, of a bowling ball and the intention of a bowling ball, and you do too much with the layout to try and tame it down or speed it up or things along those lines, what ends up happening is you end up with bowling balls that start to get too close to one another. Again, that is why I use a lot more of the same numbers and the same layouts on a lot of bowling balls, and just control it with my pin to pap distance, because when I do that, I'm allowing the cover of the bowling ball, which is in contact with the lane and makes up most of my ball motion, do the work and allow the bowling ball to do the work. From there, I'm going to refine it by my preparation of the surface. So hopefully that makes a lot of sense to you. And I really want to get that through, that, I'm not going to go outside of the realm. I'm not going to have, 25 or 30 different layouts in my bag. I'm absolutely have some what we'll call niche layouts and things like that if I'm going to bowl in a specific pattern. Because of each person, because of how their ball roll is, if you get into extremes where you have a really short pattern or really low volume, and then you get into something that's super long, obviously you're going to have a time and a place for different types of layouts. But I'm going to use those more as fill-ins when I attempt to go to a tournament. I'm going to decide that when I go. I'm going to have the standard bag, and I may have a couple extra ones in there that essentially will help fill that gap and maybe give me a slightly different look. All right. So again, 65, 4 3/4 by 35, I think is where the sweet spot's going to go on this one for me. I will have holes in this. I do plan to definitely have this with me going into this weekend. There's a regional in Buffalo, up in Cheektowaga, New York, up in the Buffalo area. And we're bowling on Don Johnson, which, essentially, for me, I really like the asymmetrical pieces, things that are tend to be a little quicker, at least on the fresh. And then, we can kind of migrate from there. So, prepping for the weekend, making sure the right balls are in the bag. And this is definitely going to get some holes in it. So for everybody out there, I think it's a good time now to maybe ask a few questions that you may have out there. Since I don't have a guest on, I definitely am not going to be on quite as long tonight. But there is one other thing that I will definitely want to share with everybody before I get off the feed tonight. So for the individuals that are out there, we've had, 30, 40, 50 people in and out of here already. What do you got for me? What do you want to know a little bit more about the Platinum? Maybe some other questions I can answer for you tonight, specific to kind of bowling balls. So Brandon, let's see what Brandon has here. Brandon usually has some good comments, comes in here. Real good player and a staffer here from the York area. Drill pearl ball for what it's intended to be, to get through the fronts and have more energy down lane motion. Yeah, it matches exactly what we were just talking about, Brandon. I agree. When I'm going to take what the intention of a bowling ball is for, and I'm going to try to complement that with a layout that makes sense to kind of retain what the intended manufacturing release was for. Okay. Don Matillo coming through. What surface do you plan on using? Box, or are you going to hit it with a pad? So, Dom, definitely for myself, I may throw it down the lane once or twice, with the box finish on it. But generally, I'm not a huge fan personally. Okay, of compound and polish. I would rather, if I'm going to bring it up, I'm going to bring it up with a pad. I just, I like to crack the surface on it. I don't like them to be sideways off friction with the heavy hand. So for me, I will probably hit this thing with a pad. It could be just a beat up, 2000 or 1500 pad, nothing super aggressive. But it really depends what it looks like. It's no different than when I go to any tournament. I am not the guy you're going to see that is going to be there crowbar in his bowling ball with a pad before I throw it down the lane, because essentially, sorry, my battery is being a little wonky here. So I'm not the guy that's going to be crowbarring before we essentially, go into tournament play, because I want to make sure that I see and let the lane tell me what it wants. All right. The lane's going to tell me more about what ball motion it wants to see then and there. But when I prepare for tournaments, I definitely will have all my gear higher in surface prep than I do maybe that I use once we're in there for scoring, because it's a lot easier to take bowling balls down by hand. All right. All right. Looks like Christine. So kind of a question between the two. How does the Kinetic match up against the WebMB? It's a pretty good question there. The WebMB was kind of a special release that came out in the web line, which basically took the success of the symmetrical side of the webs, and we kind of elongated the core. So that core in that ball is skinnier and taller, if you will, and the intermediate diff on that bowling ball is going to be higher. So what you're going to get out of that, I think you're going to see out of the Kinetic, in my opinion, is going to be probably overall, if you do box finish to box finish on it, is you're actually going to see that WebMB is going to probably be a little cleaner even than this Kinetic is, just because of the overall shape of the core. Numbers wise on it, you might see that the Kinetic may appear to be sharper because of having the lower intermediate diff between those two balls. But essentially, the cover stocks are much different. You're dealing with one that has a little mica flake and this one which doesn't. So you're going to see a little different in shape. But if you're looking for something that's going to complement Christine, I would probably say that if you have a WebMB in the bag, I probably wouldn't be adding a Kinetic, just because you're kind of in that realm and that gap filler where they kind of fall in those lines. So like if you were on the hammer side of it, the WebMB is kind of going to fall in that same realm as to where the Kinetic is when you're doing just all track balls. Good question, though. What else do we got out there? Everybody's probably watching bowling too. I'm itching to see it, and not sure who everybody wants to see win tonight, but I don't think there's a really bad choice. Obviously, it's pretty cool to see four guys on the show, all throwing brands of Brunswick. That's super exciting to me, making some noise out there. And you kind of, do you want to see Weidman win? And kind of be the guy that's made some noise in the last couple of weeks. Maldonado's had a ton of injuries he's dealt with recently, so it would be good to see Maldi get one. But if I'm going to pull for somebody, and I don't know how he's doing right now, Flash is my boy. I love Sterner to death. I think he's one of the hardest workers in the game, and would definitely love to see him get one. Chris Wilson, yeah, Chris, you have the platinum. Looking good for you. I know Adam Bear is. I don't know if he's throwing one tonight. He was patinging me here, so let me see my phone. Maybe we can get a live update here as I'm on. Look at my phone, see if he's throwing it. Yeah, 264 with a game one, not too bad. But he's throwing on the fresh, and he's just throwing it to throw it. He knows it's not really a ball he's going to throw in the fresh. But if you're throwing it on the fresh and they have really clean back ends and they don't really take shape, might feel a little over-underish until the pattern takes a little bit of shape, kind of blends out the mid lane a little bit where this thing needs to really see it down lane. So, all right, any other questions out there? If not, I have one other thing that I definitely want to show you tonight, and is pretty exciting to me, and I hope everybody's excited as I am. So, all right, I will look at that, but I am actually going to flash something up on the screen here that I was super happy to kind of announce and go through. So, it's no secret if you know me personally and you've been here at the shop or you've seen things, like I have an amazing alliance with Cool Wick Apparel. And as a regional staffer and part of the Be Cool crew, I was able to work with the gang at Cool Wick, specifically Carly and Stephanie Johnson, which is near to me, part of the Shafani show there, and a good friend. And I was able to create my first signature line. And I think it's pretty amazing that, a company works so closely and so quickly to kind of just take a basic idea that I had, and it's going to be offered to everybody in the general public, and I'm hoping everybody supports it. So if you know me personally, obviously, sponsored by Hammer, and I love my brand and Pure It here, but one of the other things I truly, feel is so important in life is to educate everybody. And the reason we do these podcasts and we're constantly doing these things. And I had the ability to kind of make something that I thought was pretty cool. And I always like sayings, and there's things that I live by in life, and whether it's for sports related things or the way you live your life in general, is I always had a theme and a saying that I said, which is that I was always taught to basically make today better than yesterday. So hence I came out with a line, and I'm going to flash up here to you and give you a full screen. And we work with it, and we have this in multiple colors that are available there. There's going to be a bunch of other designs coming out, probably do some hoodies, things along that line. But we actually launched a complete line this morning that is my Better Than Yesterday line. And the Better Than Yesterday line is near and dear to me because it's really how I think we need to live our lives, right? If we always focus and do forward thinking, and we don't dwell on anything that happened yesterday or the day before or the things in the past, and we do forward looking, you have to be better than you were the day before, right? So if you live your life in that manner, whether it's through sports or it's through, just how you live your everyday life, I just think it's something we can all kind of jump on and embrace. Right now, these are available as we speak. They're available on the Cool Wick site. If you can't find the link, if you go under basically the jersey section, there's a complete thing that has the Be Cool crew. If you look under the Be Cool regional men's staff, you can find my design. There's like 3 or 4 different color options in there right now. You can purchase them right off the site. And if you're interested in it, you can use my coupon code. It'll get you another 10% off if you use JSmith10. Just put that in at checkout, and you can grab one of these. And, nothing I'd love to see more than seeing people walking around and, proudly displaying kind of the message that I think is pretty awesome for all of us to live by. But to answer your question, Colin, I will eventually have some in the shop here. But, if you want to get them into production quick, as in, I know, honestly, I probably know about 24 people that put orders in today already on these. So, the gang down at Cool Wick was pretty excited right off the bat to see we put them up in the same day. They're kind of flying off the shelf. So they're ready for you down there. They're ready for those to go in, and hopefully everybody gets behind it and really gets on board with what the message is, and growing that portion of the brand on top of the Pure brand here as well. So better than yesterday. Check us out at Cool Wick. Anything you need on that site. Definitely, it's not just for this t-shirt. Anything you want to order, they have the best jerseys in the industry, and you can use that JSmith 10 to get 10% off anything on that site that you desire. We're always doing some cool little giveaways and stuff like that. So you could probably anticipate this coming Monday when we bowl league. I'll probably be giving one away. I want to get them out there and see everybody flying the colors. I think it'll be pretty cool. Make sure I didn't miss any other ones on here. And Colin got two. Thinking, yeah, we're going to do some other colors, hoodies, things along those lines. It's going to be pretty cool. Jackets, we haven't did anything with them yet with jackets, Christine. The t-shirts were the first thing that we're going to do. Jackets, if you're talking about our standard line, my business, which is Pure Bowling and what you're on here right now, we definitely have jackets that are made by Cool Wick in stock here. We got pullovers, we got jerseys, we got anything that you can dream of, with the Pure logo on there. The t-shirts that you're going to get on there's no ball brands on them. There's nothing that says Pure on that shirt. It's really about the message. So it doesn't matter what manufacturer you're behind or things along those lines. It's really about the message. So super excited with it. I wanted to share it with you right away. Again, Track Kinetic Platinum. These are available here at Pure. We do have these in stock. If you're not close enough to us here, we can definitely ship them out for you. You can visit our website and get them on there. Or if you're a local pro shop in your area to support them, go stop by, see a pro shop operator, see if it's the right fit for you. Tomorrow night, we are going to have the return of Wisdom Wednesday. Again, I had taken last week off, but decided to do it a little different. So if you're on the program tonight, Wisdom Wednesday is going to be an open forum tomorrow. So essentially, you're going to get me in front of the computer here, and you can fire away any questions you may have, things that you want to talk through. I'll try to hit each and every topic you bring up, things that you want some questions answered on. And I will do my best to get through as many as possible that are on the feed. Obviously, depending on how many questions come through, I may not be able to get to all of them, but I promise you, if I don't get to yours live on the feed, I will make sure I take the time and reach out to you personally in a private message and try to talk through it along those lines. So again, hope everybody enjoyed the feed tonight. Make sure you continue to go out and support bowling. I know here in PA, we're getting pretty excited. Looks like April 4th, we're going to see a lot more stuff opening up. We can sit at a bar. We can, increases in the food and beverage is going to be better. Capacities are going up. Hoping to see some light at the end of the tunnel here. Seeing a lot of tournaments in action, but continue to support small business. If you got those stimulus checks, don't spend them at Walmart. Go to the mom and pops places, the ones that were hurting the worst through all this. Get out and stimulate them. They need us. Okay. That's where we're going to spend our time at. And make sure you tune in tomorrow night. And until then, visit the Cool Wick site, buy a Better Than Yesterday t-shirt. And we will see everybody tomorrow night at 8:00. And going to tune off here for the night. I'm going to get home real quick, and I'm going to jump on FS1 and watch some bowling with everybody out there. And we'll see everybody soon. Have a good night.